Many of us can say, I've never had an accident before and I've been driving this way for years, so it must be fine. But for some of us, the reason we haven't had an accident is just a matter of chance. We haven't been in that situation where we've had to react or take defensive action or evasive action. Because we've been doing something for years and it hasn't met with catastrophic results doesn't mean that it's a good driving habit.
There's always risk out there. You never drive one moment without being exposed to risk. Most crashes have at least 9, 10 risk factors that combine. These risk factors are very, very minor things. Perhaps a driver driving a few miles an hour too fast, driver having low tire pressure, a driver approaching a curve, left curve in the road, maybe a downgrade, but there's no consequences because the elements did not combine at that time. So a driver going into a curve too fast could get away with it 1 time, 2 times, 10 times, 20 years. And then all of a sudden they hit a patch of sand going into that curve. And all of these factors now are going to contribute to that particular collision. So we never know all of the risk factors working against us. That's why drivers need to know how they could develop habits that are going to give them that risk management capabilities. We can't do anything about all the other drivers out there, but we could do something about ourselves. And that is to empower ourselves with some pretty good habits.
So when I get into the car, I just remind myself of habits that I have. One of the habits that was real hard for me to break was tailgating. I just forget that I'm tailgating. I'm in a hurry, the car's not moving fast enough in front of me, and I get up there.
Probably the single best thing you can do is give yourself enough space between you and the car in front of you to assume they're not going to do the right thing and make sure you have some place to go, make sure you have enough room, enough space to stop without hitting the car in front of you, enough space to slow down gradually before you stop so you don't get rear-ended by the car behind you. If you're too close behind a vehicle ahead of you, you may not see an object in the roadway that that driver sees and is planning on reacting to when they get to a spot where they can actually change lanes to go around it. And now you're there and this hazard's directly in front of you, and you haven't seen it, and you don't have enough time to react to it because you couldn't see around that vehicle in front of you. So you want to make sure that you always think to yourself when you're driving, do I have enough time to safely slow and stop if a hazard were to suddenly appear in front of me?
That's like money in the bank. It's a gift you give yourself. If you keep that space, you're so much more relaxed. You're able to isolate yourself from the high stress that other drivers could generate when they stop fast and you have to react to it.
One of the real big problems I believe that people have on the road is they're very short-sighted. They're looking right in front of their car instead of looking 2 to 3 blocks down the road. When you're looking right in front of you, you're not seeing the big truck that's pulling out or things that are going on in front of you. People tend to just look straight ahead. That's why we have mirrors. You should be moving your eyes every 15 to 30 seconds. Sidewalk, mirror, front of you, mirror, sidewalk, so you get the big picture.
Basically, by looking out to your target area, we're seeing into our future. And if we could all see into the future, imagine the good decisions we could make. Imagine if you were to buy stocks and you could see into the future 10 seconds before that stock is being traded, and you know exactly what it's going to do before you make that investment. Well, it's the same thing when we're looking out into our target area. We're seeing into our future. We're seeing into the future space we need to occupy 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds ahead of time. That's going to make us a winner.
We have visibility. We have to control our visibility, our time, and our space. When you put yourself in the other person's blind spot, you're putting yourself at risk. If they have to suddenly make a movement and they have to swerve either left or right, you happen to be in their blind spot, they're going to hit you. It's not because they want to hit you, it's because they have reacted to some other type of a hazard. If you could just move your car back a little bit or move your car forward a little bit.
If you're driving near a larger vehicle and you have an accident with them, chances are they're going to come out better than you are. So to avoid being in that situation, drivers of passenger cars have to understand that the drivers of those larger vehicles can't always see around their vehicles. So as a general rule, I usually will stay just behind them if I'm overtaking and passing a larger vehicle until there's enough space in front of me in my lane to allow me to pass that vehicle without driving next to it for miles at a time.